I feel like there are some people who can very well afford a private practice, but they feel the ease of the corporate world like much easier to kind of do
We've
it.
had several conversations with our colleagues that own practices. It's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody.
Sometimes the corporate world is better, and then vice versa. It's, for others, they hate it. So
Yeah.
it's just, this was our calling. Thanks so much for joining us again on another episode of the Define Orthodontic podcast. My name is Gunny, Sodhi, one of the co-founders of Define Orthodontics. To my right is
Dr. Kirat, Sodhi.
awesome. As promised, I said that this was going to be a really near and dear episode to us. And honestly, I don't know if we've ever had this conversation publicly before. I know we've talked about it many times, and it's kind of the why behind creating Define. So to us, I think you may follow, we never decide as just a practice. It is also a business that has a lot of components and moving parts to it as well. But then always understanding the why. And I think we've always wanted to create a business or a practice that treated patients how we would want to be treated and how we would want the care and the attention and just how we'd want to feel. So I would love to kind of get into that, and maybe we can start about the fire that ignited everything, because you weren't always at Define. I wasn't always at Define, but what's interesting is you were still working in the corporate world where a lot of our colleagues also started. And what maybe was that driving factor, I guess, for both of us to want to do something on our own? So I'll start with you, because obviously you're a catalyst to get this going, and that'd be nice to kind of hear from your point of view as well.
Yeah, it's interesting because I, graduated, and at the time of graduation, I was pregnant with our first baby, and I just decided that, okay, as any other graduating orthodontic resident, you're like, okay, we've got the student loans, we got to pay the bills, and let me get a nice job. And I think
life hits right after school.
Life hits. You start looking at your, the loans, which are getting bigger and bigger. And then, of course, as a female orthodontic provider with a baby on the way and a newborn, it's like decisions you're trying to make. You're like, okay, how many days do I want to work? How much do I want to work? What's my work-life balance here? All of that stuff. So I remember that, my decision was like, oh, I'm going to start with part-time, and I'm going to work, a few days a week in corporate and make a decent amount of money, start paying towards the bills and stuff. And then as I started working, and I don't know if it was a new mom life or what, but the reality of it all hits, and you start realizing that, okay, corporate work is not for everybody. It wasn't fun. I'm not saying I was trying to be the best orthodontist for my patients, but I was not having that patient connection. I don't honestly, looking back at it, do I even remember any single patient from my corporate world practice?
Wow, okay.
Maybe not. So that kind of tells you I never connected with those patients, just because you're seeing them so you're not seeing them on a regular basis. You don't have the time to build that.
Sporadic and random.
And you just don't have the time to build those connections. You're seeing so many patients in such a short,
it's a different model.
It's a different model.
Yeah.
Again, as a provider, the intention was there. As my team helping me, they all were working together at the same goal. Nothing against the whole system
Absolutely.
or anything. I feel like it's a great system for people who feel like it's a good fit for them. And we've talked to, and honestly, it's not even based on socioeconomic status. I feel like there are some people who can very well afford a private practice, but they feel the ease of the corporate world much easier to kind of do it.
We've had several conversations with our colleagues that own practices. It's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody.
Same thing. Sometimes the corporate world is better, and then vice versa. For others, they hate it. So
Yeah.
it's just, this was our calling. I think we always wanted to kind of have our own type of,
And I remember you having, you were working in our business, the first business we had, and then you've always had that business mindset. So you've always had that, okay, we want to have our own business, and that's, something that you got from your family, your dad's side and everything, and mom's side. So, and I came from, my dad has always worked a job.
Yeah.
So, and I was completely okay working a job and not having my own business and being totally fine with it. But then I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy in what I was doing. And then we just decided that, okay, we'll start looking.
I would say it's not just a happiness. I would say, I think it's also, you weren't fully, your purpose. I don't think you were really resonating with your purpose. Am I just another orthodontist that they're just plugging into this machine? I think that was also there.
It's just felt that value of it all.
Yeah.
and the reason that you were doing this, waking up in the morning. And once you start, I tell the same thing, honestly, to our team that works for us. And we have a great team, by the way. But I'm like, the moment you wake up and you're like, oh, I got to go to, it's a work day, and you're feeling sad about it, there's something that you got to look into. Like, why are you feeling that? Like, we have people who come to us and they are excited. Like, I want to have that excitement that, hey, I get to go to work today, you know? Exactly. And so that was important. And then we started looking that, okay, are we going to do a startup? Are we going to like buy an existing practice?
It was a lot of things.
It was a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was a year into my corporate world that I decided, okay, we're going to start looking at now. Our son's like 1 year old and we're getting the hang of it. A shout out to our parents who kind of helped grow the kids at the same time. So, but then it was very interesting. And I love orthodontic community. There's some beautiful, amazing people out there in orthodontic world, especially, I mean, I can't say of other places, but, you know, definitely DFW, you know, I reached out to so many different orthodontists, you know, at different stages of their life. They were all so nice. They were all very welcoming when I introduced myself as a newer orthodontist in the town. Like,
didn't feel threatened, didn't have any ego. You could ask, open book. I mean, I'll let you tell the story because I joined a little bit later, but this is interesting where it's going here.
Yeah. I mean, I was meeting so many people. Like, I always believe in that we're a lifelong learner. So I've never had that qualms about me that, hey, I'm not going to like go and seek knowledge or information from people. So I've always like tried to reach out to people and be like, hey, can I come shadow you? Can I learn from you? Can I see your practice? See how you do? What can I do? How can I make myself better? So I've always been that kind of philosophy and mindset. So I've tried to reach out to a lot of people, and there were so many people who were like, hey, come on in. I may not need an orthodontist at this point, or I'm not looking to sell, or I'm not looking for an associate, but if you just want to come shadow, learn, absolutely. I visited so many great practices. People were so nice. I have some really good friends, you know, the female mentors that I got who like, you know, took me to lunches, introduced me, told me what should my next steps be, what should I do. And that was just an amazing, you know, I knew for a fact that, okay, I've joined a great career, great profession, which people are so morally and ethically in line, and everybody wants you to be successful. And I hope and wish that I become one of that persons for the upcoming people as well.
And I would say, just to add in, all those people that were along for the journey, and we had, you know, we took over amazing practices. I think we're so grateful for the people that laid the foundation ahead of us, both in Las Colinas and in Dallas. Just amazing practitioners and super helpful in the transition and everything. I think for me, what was so important is that, you know, we were kind of wrapping up that business in terms of, I was in the supplements. I was never in the dental space at all. I was in the supplement space, dietary supplement manufacturing, distributing, marketing for 15 years. So I knew nothing about this space. But one thing that resonates across most channels of businesses, industries, is how do you take care of the customer, and being obsessed with just providing awesome value and treating your team and people well. And I think we never faltered from that. In fact, every single week, I think we raised standards. We're super about investing in the team, investing in our people. And especially like from my background, coming from consumer background, I said, well, if we can do this here, I understand this is a services-based business, but the customer at the end is still a customer that I would be relating to, whether it's this business or that business. So taking that mindset and going into here, we really, really believe in just treating our patients. And I know everyone says it, but I hope you guys can understand and capture the emotion here that we really believe in treating the patient right, in going above and beyond. And it's funny, that is infectious, and it comes down to the whole team. And, you know, I think we do that. And some of our rules is like, yeah, we're not seeing patients on Fridays, but we're still going to answer the phone and be there for you. We have some people that are kind of there on Saturdays. We stay late if we need to. We have early hours. So it's not just a very old school philosophy in this industry of that, hey, I'm the orthodontist office, or I'm the owner and I'm going to run it like my way. No, we're going to meet the consumer where they need to be as well. And of course, I think we have to thank all of the people that uncovered their curtains, let us into their practices, did some trainings. I feel like that really opened up our minds to what is possible and what can be done, and the real work that you can do. I feel like we're in, and we joke about this, we're in the sexy side of dentistry. People actually want to come in and be seen here. And I think that's what's really appreciative and amazing. Like all the shoulders that we've stood on to even get to here. And, you know, I don't think we've done anything that special. We're still kind of growing, and we still have so many things to achieve, but everybody before us that we've got to listen, that we've got to go to the conferences, that all the leaders and all the amazing names, and you guys know who you guys are. I feel so grateful and indebted to them because they're always willing to help and always push the envelope further.
Yeah. And I feel like the moment we got the practices and got them running, and then we decided that what our team culture is going to be, how like sitting down down and honing on that. Okay, what are our core values? How do we want to be treated?
Yeah.
Is how we want to treat our patients. Like our biggest core value being empathy, empathy, teamwork, and innovation is the 3 core values that we came up with our team. And we have gone so big and heavy on it. And I feel like that just reflects in every aspect of what we do. It's just making sure that we provide the best service to our patients, kind of listening to them, getting them and meeting them, and even the treatment plans that I provide. Like sometimes, and I've told my patients that, okay, I understand that you don't want regular braces, but I do think that that's best for you. But if you're going to be absolutely hating the journey, if you're not going to be liking coming to the office because you pushed me into braces and I never wanted them, that kind of philosophy, I'll work with you.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, I am a perfectionist at the end of the day. And if I feel like the treatment modality is not bringing the kind of results that we want for our patients, I will try to convince you to get into the correct treatment form. And they always, just coming up to
shout out
us,
the team too.
shout out, like we have an amazing team. And
the whole team. It's not just like from the marketing to the people that you see in the office to the people that are behind the scenes. It's just, they've all bought it, right? So.
Yeah. So all of that. And then, what we've tried to create. And again, it's been an amazing experience so far. And we've just kind of, we're in our 5th year of our practice ownership at Irving location. And it was amazing looking back at the 5 years that we've grown so much. I feel like as a provider, I've grown so much and matured into the decisions that I'm making and, how we approach different things.
Yeah.
So I think
as practice owners, we've grown a lot too. Have all the days been just sunshine? No, you learn from all sorts of things. But I think I will kind of close it on this thought and end it here. When we have the patients give us feedback that, hey, when I come to your office, it feels like I'm seeing family.
And that's the most common. And I think, and it's just came how like we're a family owned practice. And it's not that in our marketing, we say it a lot or we do that a lot.
It's a feeling.
It's a feeling. And it's so interesting because most of the times, like, when people are even like providing the feedback or writing reviews or something, it's just like so interesting to kind of hear their thoughts. Like we would have never asked them to say that, or we would have never thought that they would say it, but they feel that. They feel like it feels like family. It feels like family. Like we hear that a lot.
And a lot of times when somebody's feeling like that, like I remember a couple of our patients when they're in their last day, when they're getting debanded, a lot of them say, I'm sad that I'm not going to get to just come and see you guys.
Yes, we laugh at it. It's interesting.
Nice.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think what you said is so important too. We're lifelong learners. I think we, outside of the ortho space, shout out to Mr. Tony Robbins. We've attended so many of his conferences, other stuff that we do as well. It just, you got to grow yourself, because if as leaders, we're going to be taking on, bigger and better challenges, you have to grow. The same growth you did last week cannot be the same growth that you're aiming for to go. You got to make changes and constantly improve. And I think we've done a lot of that. We continue to. And like I said, again, just giving shout outs to our peers that are ahead of us and that we get to stand on their shoulders and learn from their experience. It's just so phenomenal. There's so many people in this industry that you said that are just so giving. And we're so grateful to that, because believe us, both of us, we're going to go in there and we're going to be so curious and learn. But then, like you said, I hope and I think we get to be channels for that growth for others as well. And which is why we've always had this philosophy that you reach out to us and you need help, you will always hear from us. And that's one of the things. It's just like one of our mentors who helped you get into school, and also to that, hey, that will always be giving.
Yeah. I mean, it's always interesting that, I think it's more of a thing that you get and you give back,
Yeah.
You always give back. So yeah.
Absolutely. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for this. This was, we could keep talking about this as well. It's really near and dear to our heart, but thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Define Orthodontics podcast. Next week, what we'll talk about is when should parents bring in their kids, and kind of, all about the airway aspect of it. So thank you so much. You guys take care.